Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa met with his fellow citizens in New York Sunday on the sidelines of the UNGA, where he is poised to deliver his maiden address as head of state. This was the first occasion for many Zimbabweans in the diaspora to meet the new president, who took over from his former boss, longtime leader Robert Mugabe, who resigned under pressure last November. Mnangagwa assured his fellow citizens that the country is moving positively under his leadership. VOA Zimbabwe reporter Blessing Zulu has more.
3:49.
Emmerson Mnangagwa met yesterday in New York with Zimbabweans based in America and Canada. One of the main issues he addressed was the land reform program.
I am not regretting that we took back our land. And the land reform is irrevocable. We'll move forward. Fortunately, even the British accept now that that issue is dead.
The president said the land reform program was the reason Zimbabwe has been under targeted sanctions from Washington and the European Union. Mr. Mnangagwa was speaking on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly meeting. Western countries that have imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe accuse it of gross human rights abuses and rigging of elections. Mr. Mnangagwa, though, says Britain and Germany are engaging, leaving out Washington.
Here in Washington, it's not really predictable, but the indications are not as strongly bad as before. I have met several groups of congresspeople who have come from the United States of America who came with negative briefing, but by the time they came back, they were almost our ambassadors to come and talk back about how good Zimbabwe is. So again, I believe that very soon, our relations with the USA administration is going to drastically improve.
Allow Zimbabweans who are outside Zimbabwe.
Ruling ZANU-PF party chairman Frank Guni asked the president about voting rights for the Zimbabwean diaspora.
Wherever I went, our people in the diaspora were begging me to make sure people in the diaspora should vote. I have said, as I made my presentation, I agreed with that request. But
the president expressed hope that in the next 5 years, the government will put into place the infrastructure that would allow the diaspora to vote in the next elections. Mr. Mnangagwa also declared that his country is open for business and is talking to potential investors. The president also said he is going to fight corruption, blamed by many for discouraging investment.
Corruption. We will fight corruption.
Corruption was an issue on the minds of many in the audience.
From what I hear, when people go over there, it's not transparent just yet. And there's a lot of corruption. You have to pay somebody to open a business over there. Or for things to move, you have to pay someone.
I've rejected to pay, any kind of corruption. So it's going to take each one of us, as Zimbabweans, to say no to corruption.
Overall, the reception was positive.
And I think the most significant part of this diaspora engagement was that Zimbabweans were allowed to freely ask questions and contribute ideas that they think can advance the future of Zimbabwe.
Mr. Mnangagwa was accompanied by his finance minister, Professor Mthuli, and Central Bank Chief Dr. Godfrey Mangudya. He is expected to make his maiden speech at the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday.
For Voice of America in New York, this is Blessing Zulu.